Good, finally, Friday morning, 2 minutes past the hour of 10 o'clock here at the KREM studios. I'm Randy Roberson. With me in the studio for our community spotlight today, as we do on Fridays, we've got your hometown movie guys with us in the studio. And Tina's not with us. She's trimming trees today, or having someone trim her trees or something like that. But we do have Andy and Craig with us in the studio. And how you both doing? This is a good time to answer now.
I'm doing great.
Good. Glad to hear it. Yep. And should I ask you too?
See, did you want the truth or just the wonderful?
Marvelous. Yeah.
And hello out there in Radio Land.
Over Modulation City. And greetings to all of you also joining us this morning on Facebook Live, where you have a chance to actually see the hometown movie guys, which can be eye-opening, it can be mood-altering, it can be a dietary aid. But anyway, we're glad to have you along with us. And we're going to be talking about...
Dietary aid, that's pretty rough.
Well, it is Friday, after all. But at any rate, we need to start off talking a little bit about the Sawmill Theaters. Now, as we've been saying for weeks and weeks, with this whole coronavirus thing, it's had a big impact on not only the Sawmill Theaters here, but theaters all across the state, right?
Yes, yeah. We're, yesterday our governor shut us down for another 2 weeks through the middle of August. So we saw that one come down. We also seen the studios are pulling more movies.
Could you get like a portable screen, and maybe we could just show the movies down at Walmart or Home Depot?
Yeah, we've talked about a little drive-in thing out there, but those are actually tough. There's a lot to take in for that.
Well, and then you got the monsoon season, and by the time you get all set up is when we're going to have a big,
that's one. Is the wind and stuff coming through and everything, and even things like parking lot lights.
Right.
You got to shut off half your parking lot lights. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot to it, I guess. And I have really thought about it, but it's just kind of it's a difficult one to get through.
So, but not only did you get the order yesterday for an additional 2-week closure, which is got to be devastating. I mean, just from the business aspect of this, but it's changing when some of the movies that were going to be being released here the first of this next month have now gotten bumped again.
Well, the big ones were Tenet and Mulan, and both of those are gone now.
Oh no!
Yeah, Mulan is moved indefinitely. They don't have a date on that.
Wow.
And even worse than that, now we're going into September. September 4th, I think, was A Quiet Place 2.
Right.
That's been pushed all the way back into 2021.
2021.
So yeah, basically we're looking at a total disaster, really, theater-wise. It's just, it's pretty crushing, really.
I got to ask, how are your employees dealing with this? This has got to be devastating.
We're all kind of,
trying to figure out what happens
at this point. It's really start looking for other work, I think.
Wow.
I don't know what the Senate's going to do here with their, extending this unemployment or not, or what they're going to do there. But yeah, it's going to. Yeah, that's another one. Thanks for bringing that up, Randy. Too. I hadn't really considered, losing my staff too. But that's,
it bites. I mean,
that's another one that might happen. Yeah.
And I'm sure it does. For you personally as well, which is, it's just crazy that you're all having to go through that. By the way, if you're following along with us this morning on Facebook Live, and if you have some questions for your hometown movie guys, feel free to chime in there and post your questions on KREM's Facebook page, and we'll be happy to extend those questions along to our resident experts, your hometown movie guys.
That's us.
That's right. So now, so basically, we really don't know where this is all going next.
No, and it's this kind of cause and effect thing with the studios and then the big theaters. AMC, Harkins, Cinemark, they're not going to open unless they have new product. Well, then the studios aren't going to put out the new product if the theaters aren't open, and then these closures keep going back and forth. So it's just that's what's been happening now all summer. Is it's going back and forth where they set a date for a movie and then the theaters all get closed down. So then the studios pull those dates and push it back.
Right.
Anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks, and then we do it again, and that's 2 months in a row now is what's happened. We were all set up for July, looked like it was going to happen. Numbers spiked out, states closed, and then we went back to August, and now we've seen the same thing. Now with August, it looks it's going to be closed down again, and the movies are gone.
Now, before going on the air, we were talking, and you mentioned that summertime is really when you generate the lion's share of your revenue for the year.
Well, not just us, but the
industry in
theater
general.
industry. Yeah, you know that's you look at it, and that's when they put out their big movies.
Right.
Spend a lot of money on these things, on marketing and everything, and that is all gone.
Wow.
We're going back into fall now, which is traditionally kind of a slow time.
This keeps up. It's going to be nothing but zombie movies pretty soon.
Yeah.
Oh, worse than that, it'll be dramas.
Oh no, not dramas. Got enough of that already.
Really, at this point, I'm forced to look to November. The holidays is kind of my next kind of lifeline there.
Wow.
For films coming out. There's nothing now for September or October. So we still have November. There's Black Widow is still in there.
She's dead.
Did they? Honestly, I'm not sure about James Bond. I think they might have pulled James Bond too, though, and pushed that into 2021.
Wow.
I don't know. It was just a terrible week. Everything was in place and looking good, and it all just got yanked.
Yeah, and
I did call the governor yesterday to complain.
Is that right?
Yep.
Did they answer the phone?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I left a message.
They have you on caller ID
I
apparently.
guess they do.
I messaged him too. I said, "Hey, give me a little fair warning." And
Now, can we talk about your message on the air here? I think there's FCC rules.
yeah, I was just like, "Please," and I guess he listened and gave me bad news instead of good news.
Wow, that's just strictly from a business standpoint. I mean, I think we all feel for you, and I think that the thing that when we do get back to whatever normal is, it just goes without saying that we need to really rally the troops, because you folks have done so much to have different fundraisers for different community focused events and things like that, and now to be stuck in the middle of all this. I mean, it's we need to, as a community, be ready to get on out there and watch the movies and support what you have going on.
It's still my call that we need a vaccine before things are going to come back to normal.
Right.
With the
Either that or an election.
Yeah. Well, with the theater industry, we need that for people to feel comfortable coming out again.
Right.
And again, I don't know why theaters have been kind of picked out as such a threat when there's plenty of other businesses operating at near capacity. But I don't know. That's not my call.
I hear you. How about you, Andy? What do you think?
I am disappointed and dismayed. Actually, I love the movies.
Yeah.
I mean, I
got that impression.
I mean, I really do. I like going to the movies every week, and I like writing about them. I like talking about them. And I really, really, really like watching them. Mm-hmm. Last night at home, I watched The Good Liar, which I missed at the theaters when it was available. And it was not what I thought it would be. And it's really fun to be surprised when you sit down to watch something, and you've got an idea in your head of what's going to happen, and nope, not on this one.
Yeah, I just recently, my wife and I watched the movie about the life of Elton John.
Okay, Rocket Man.
Rocket Man.
Yep.
And that wasn't exactly what I was expecting it to be either. I've been a big fan of his music. His story is, I don't know. I felt afterwards. I felt like, wow, there's 2 hours that I'll never get back. Mm-hmm. But that's just my opinion. Don't let that dissuade you from watching a movie. A lot of good music.
Yeah, a lot of good music. He, by the way, is one of the very few rock and rollers that has an Academy Award on his mantle.
That does say something.
Yep, yeah. He wrote the theme from Lion King.
Right. And I liked his. I mean, he's certainly. I guess flamboyant is a word that could be used there when it comes to Elton John. There's probably a few other ones, but the part that he played as the pinball wizard in Tommy, I thought was pretty epic, and that goes back more than a couple of years.
Yeah, that's way back.
And
they were talkies.
He also had a speaking role. A reasonably prominent role. In the second of the King's Men movies, playing himself, actually.
Really?
And the star of the King's Men movies also played Elton John in Rocket Man.
Okay, now if you want to go down this road, let's go even more obscure.
That's not obscure. That's
This next comment is very obscure. It's Elton John wrote the music track for a movie that came out, I'm guessing 1975, 76, called Friends. And it's actually a pretty interesting soundtrack. It was a very interesting movie at the time. And I was, a young lad and enjoyed watching that for a variety of reasons. But he was doing, movie music a long time ago.
he certainly was. That's all I got. I never saw that.
And the rest, as they say, is history.
Yeah.
So now, one of the things that we wanted to talk a little bit about today, and Andy, you came up with this, and I think it's a stellar idea.
Did you see the paper today?
No.
Oh, in today's paper, there's my column on movies, page 9.
Really? You do a column?
Every week.
I'm just kidding.
Essential zombie movies.
Oh, not just any zombie movies, but the essential zombie movies.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Wait, so is there? I gotta ask.
Okay, I'm just going to give you a little quote here from me. I'm going to quote me.
Well, that seems appropriate.
In 28 days later, we encounter survivors of an outbreak in England. This skillfully wrought story of humans under stress puts it well above the usual brain-eating blood splash of the genre. Cillian Murphy and Naomi Harris have gone on to good success in many films since this one. And my challenge to you is, what iconic role is now being filled by Naomi Harris?
I got nothing. How about you?
No.
No, nothing.
Moneypenny.
James Bond.
Oh, okay. If you say.
No, she's the new Moneypenny.
Really?
Yes.
And that's
she's been about 3. She's been Moneypenny about 3 times.
And this is in the new James Bond movie that will be out now next year.
Yeah. I'm sure that she will james as Moneypenny in the long-awaited and long-delayed James Bond movie.
Well, one of the things that you brought up, and I think it's a great idea, and that's the last time I'll say you had a great idea.
No.
But you're talking about iconic scenes from movies today. And did I get that right? Just iconic scenes, not necessarily the whole movie or anything, but an iconic scene that really
kind of
spells out the whole picture.
The memory scene.
Right.
The memory scene.
Something like what's his face saying, "Frankly, Scarlett, I don't give a damn," that's the kind of thing you're talking about.
Number 1.
Oh, but he's got a list.
Gone with the Wind.
Number 1.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Am I good or what?
Yeah. Perfect. And out there in Radioland, we did not prompt him. We all know that Randy doesn't go to the movies, but he's evidently has seen this one.
There you go. Sooner or later, everyone has to see Gone with the Wind. Yeah. No, but that is an icon. I mean, that's one scene where you could see that and you could say, "Oh, that's Gone with the Wind."
Yeah, and geez, what a tremendous movie that was. Still on anybody's list. It's greatest movies of all time. It's
Rhett Butler.
Rhett Butler. That's right.
Yeah.
Do you remember how many Academy Awards they got for that one?
I want to say 10.
Wow.
I mean, it was a big. When people saw it back in whenever it was, 1938, I think, they realized that this was something extraordinarily special.
And it's still widely looked at as that even today.
Yeah,
which is kind of amazing when you think of, it's been 90 years or so almost.
Still one of the highest grossing films too, if
really
adjusted for inflation, of course.
Right.
Huh. They did some technical things in there too that were just amazing. The scene at the rail yard with the wounded soldiers, and it's I still don't know actually how they managed to do this, but it's a continuous scene, and they start off and you're looking at some poor blasted Confederate soldier. He's laying in the dirt, bleeding and suffering, and the scene pans out, and it's a long continuous scene. It was about 3-4 minutes. The big long scene, and it pans out, and you see more guys, and it keeps panning, and it keeps panning, and it keeps panning,
and you keep seeing more guys and more guys
and more guys and more guys and more guys and
Perspective.
more guys and more guys, and then finally at the end of it, you're looking at this vast sea of wounded, shot up fellas.
Right.
It's really heartbreaking to see.
Wow. Interesting. So, iconic scenes from movies is what we're going to be talking about today. And if you're following along on Facebook Live, first of all, thanks for coming along with us. And shoot us a comment on there of, and just as a quick, we have to take a break here, but as a quick, for instance, before this, and I've used this many times because, well, I like to. How about Let the Wookiee Win?
Ooh,
or
that's a good one.
What an amazing smell you've discovered. Both come from the same movie.
Yeah, no, that's great. And some movies, as you point out, the really great movies have more than one.
Yeah, right. Like Star Wars, for instance.
Star Wars.
Hey, we got to take a fast break. We're going to come back and talk more with your hometown movie guys in just a moment. Stick around, and thanks for coming along with us this morning. We've got a lot more to talk about when it comes to movies right after this.
Master jeweler Michael Manasseri is moving the House of Color jewelry store to the Swiss Village, next to the Candle Factory. In the House of Color, you will find on display a selection of one-of-a-kind creations or diamonds and gemstones and custom-made mounts handcrafted by Michael. If you're looking for something unique or something custom designed, the House of Color jewelry store will be open Mondays through Fridays 9 to 4 and Saturdays 9 to 2.
Hi, Rim Country. This is Jennifer Smith, Payson High School Longhorn, owner of Precision Intercast, and proud sponsor of K-Rim Community Radio. For the last 28 years, it has been my family's pleasure to support Rim Country schools, sports, and community activities. I was with my dad the moment he fell in love with Payson, called my mom, and they decided to move our family and business here. Every day, I'm glad they did, and I'm honored to carry on their legacy in our community.
Hey, it's Craig Bailey, your host for an hour of music by Pink Floyd every week on Floaty and Slip. Well, Comfortably Numb, we know that song inside and out, forward and back, and yet it was never a top 40 hit. In fact, it never even broke the Hot 100. We'll talk about that. Play lots of great Floyd on the next Floaty and Slip. Learn more at floatyandslip.com and listen right here.
Anyway, hey, I thought that music was supposed to stop there, but apparently not. Anyway, this morning on Community Spotlight, again talking to your hometown movie guys minus Tina, and Craig and Andy with us in the studio this morning. And our focus du jour today is iconic scenes from movies. And at the top of your list was Rhett Butler and Gone with the Wind. We tossed out a couple of the quick ideas, but it looks to me like you've brought a rather exhaustive list with you, Andy.
Yes, exhaustive, comprehensive, and lots of them.
Okay.
Okay. So I've got one for you,
right.
And you're gonna know this. Not necessarily because you've seen the movie or the shorts, but because it has worked its way so thoroughly into the American culture, and it's about maybe 100 years ago. It was in the black and white days, and in the silent days too. So 1914, so over 100 years ago, there were a series of short one-reelers called The Perils of Pauline.
Huh.
And that's a phrase that you hear occasionally. But if you remember, the girl that gets tied to the railroad tracks.
Ah, yes.
That's from The Perils of Pauline.
I've seen that scene before. I just never knew what it was from.
Yeah,
but yeah, we've all seen that.
Yeah, it's part
and
of our
you got
culture.
the big steam locomotive,
Yeah.
coming. Yeah.
Yep. And there's even a rock and roll song called Along Came Jones. And he tied her up.
Yeah.
And he put her on the railroad track. And then along came Jones.
There you go.
Yep. So that's that is Image has crossed genres. It's not only black and white silent films, but it's also rock and roll.
Well, and another one where it's just like the single spoken line, I think instantly takes most of us back to the movie. How about Houston, we have a problem?
Ah, yes, Apollo 13.
Yeah. When you start thinking about these iconic scenes that instantly you remember.
And they kind of in our collective memory they epitomize the movie, whatever the movie was.
Right.
The Matrix, Nemo dodging those bullets, that slow motion kind of leaning back and
you couldn't see that without instantly knowing that it's the Matrix.
Yeah, that was amazing, and I've never quite been able to figure out how the movie magicked the movie to make that happen.
There's some serious technology going on there.
Yeah, but that's a good one. He just bends completely in a place where you can't do that.
Yeah, I know I can't. That's for darn sure. So what are a few other of these iconic scenes?
Okay, and maybe I can give you an audio cue here.
Okay. You're gonna have to try harder right now.
Deliverance.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got you. I don't do any better than you do, but yeah. You need that creepy little kid sitting on the porch playing his banjo.
Yeah. Somebody has a version of that with tubas that is really fun to listen to.
Oh man,
yeah.
Tubas.
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
Well, and creepy. We talked about last week, I think too. Here's Johnny.
Here's Johnny.
Yep.
From
Shining.
The Shining, yeah.
Yes.
Yep. That's on my list. There it
Watched that
is.
the other night too. Doctor Sleep. That sequel.
Doctor Sleep.
Doctor Sleep. Yeah, it's a sequel to The Shining with Ewan McGregor. It's actually pretty good.
I didn't get to see that.
It's actually on HBO now too.
Wow, very interesting.
Yep.
So
It's amazing how many of these involve Jack Nicholson.
He's been in a lot of movies.
And he is just absolutely terrific. That was 1980. Here's Johnny.
Really?
And again,
The Shining was 1980. Wow.
Yeah, that is something that is part of our collective memory.
Right.
You say, "Here's Johnny," and people, bingo, they
It's
know.
either that or The Tonight Show.
yeah, right.
Interesting. Okay. So and Craig, any others that come to your mind just off the top of your head?
Well, I've got some stuff from Jaws.
We're going to need a bigger boat.
There's a few in there, yeah. Or
and,
just that opening scene with the music and the girl swimming.
I know. That is so scary. And the underwater scene, and you're looking at the swimmer's legs, and you know that there's a shark coming in.
And I've seen a couple of times touted on online that they would have a big showing of Jaws or something out on the beach on a big screen, and people actually out floating in the water and stuff like that.
Watching it from the surf.
Let's talk about just like, I don't know. I'm not one that really believes in being able to jinx things or anything, but it's like, why do you really want to tempt fate?
Pushing it, yeah.
Anyway.
And most shark attacks happen right at the shoreline, right there.
Or in the lawyer's office. Oh, sorry, bad joke. At any rate, there's so many different movies that I think of different scenes, and again, that's what we're talking about this morning, of iconic scene that instantly reminds you what movie we're talking about. Give us another one, Andy.
Okay, Apocalypse Now, and you can give us the line.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Smells
like victory.
Smells like victory.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And there's no mistaking that.
Right.
I mean, we hear that, and oh yeah.
Okay, here's one for you.
Okay.
There's no crying in baseball.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
A League of
A
Their
League of
Own.
Their Own, yeah.
Tom Hanks.
Yeah, and there's another actor who's been in a boatload of movies.
Yes, and we have.
That's got to be one on there too.
What's that?
Tom Hanks. Life is like a box of chocolates.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Forgot about that one.
Yeah, that's a good one. And of course, you can't really ever come up with any spoken line from what was the movie, Castaway or whatever? Because he spent better part of half the movie talking to a volleyball.
Listen.
Actually, there was no spoken word there for a crazy amount of time in that movie.
Yeah, I think that is just a tremendous testimony to Tom Hanks's
making it believable and
his talent.
Yeah.
That he not only was the only actor for most of the movie, but my goodness, he didn't say anything much.
Didn't want to get upstaged by that volleyball.
No, I mean, it was just incredible, and I mean, altogether a great movie. Another great movie is Casablanca, and we have, I think we all have a thing in mind, but the scene I want to point out is when they're in Rick's place and the Nazi thugs come in, and the customers stand up and sing the French national anthem, the Marseillaise. That is a good scene.
Yeah, that's been a long time since I've seen that movie.
Not me.
Yep. Especially these days, you got to keep watching those. Huh?
We just did a Pulp Fiction.
Oh, really?
Of course, that one with Uma Thurman, where she's ODing, and John Travolta drives her over to Eric Stoltz's house, and they have to hit her with adrenaline. They stab that giant needle into her heart.
Great fun at parties.
That whole scene was great.
Yeah.
And
Pulp Fiction, wow.
again, I mean, there are a number of things in Pulp Fiction that we could point out. In particular, John Travolta dancing with Uma Thurman.
There you go.
Great scene. They're doing the twist.
Now, when you think about John Travolta, too,
what about Saturday Night Live?
Saturday Night
Saturday
Fever.
Night Fever, I'm sorry.
Oh, one leads to the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was a great old movie.
Yeah, actually, that was a very well done movie. It's particularly when you consider the era. It's fun. Even now, it's fun to watch.
Right.
And I don't know how you think about disco, but disco was a way of just enjoying yourself without having to overthink it.
Yeah, because, I mean, you obviously weren't thinking too much with all that polyester on. I remember those days all too well. I'm just really glad that everybody wasn't walking around with a phone in their pocket like they are now, so there's no proof. Actually, my roommate before I got married was the kitchen manager at a place called Bogart's, which was kind of an elite doctor-lawyer disco down in the Town and Country Shopping Center back in those days. And boy golly, the get-togethers there in the evening were pretty darn interesting, and sometimes went into the wee hours. But those were there was a lot of Donna Summers and other music from back in that time that we all thought was pretty great at the time. Now I look back at it and I'm like, glad I survived.
That's one of the things that defined that decade.
Yeah.
The 70s was disco.
Right.
Absolutely.
So what are some other iconic scenes from movies that instantly take us back to that movie?
Okay, I've got one that you will have seen, and this one goes back more than 100 years.
Oh, wow.
And it's not really, it has to do with film more than movies, but a guy named Edward Muybridge did and this is really early when they first started the technology, but he filmed, and you might have seen this in junior high. He filmed horses running, and this was the first proof that we ever had that there are times when a horse will have all four of its hoofs off the ground.
Wow.
And I've seen it. I know. I just figure if I've seen it, everybody's seen it. And it's really choppy. It's a hand cranked deal.
Right.
And
probably running 20 frames a second or something like
that. Yeah. You see the horse jerkily running.
Is that a word?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, cool.
It is now.
It is now. There you go.
And that's got to go back to the 1880s, I guess. I mean, really
early days of moving pictures. Yeah.
And they showed that in, like I say, in junior high stuff.
Wow, very
But
cool.
back to John Travolta again,
Uh-oh.
and back to Pulp Fiction again. There's a great scene where John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson are talking about what they call quarter pounders in Paris. That is just wonderful, a wonderful, wonderful scene. They call them Les Royales.
Oh, Les Royales. Oh, wow. I guess I missed that one.
Because it's
Now-
metric.
There you
Yeah,
go.
metric
you
over
can't.
there, so you can't
Yeah,
say a quarter
exactly.
pounder,
You can't
right?
say- that wouldn't make any sense.
Right, right.
Les Royales with cheese.
What about, here's another line, and we've got to cut back to music here in just a second, but one of the things that I don't think anybody, at least certainly from our age group, any adult these days, could hear this without instantly knowing exactly what movie we're talking about, and that is, "I'll get you and your dog, my pretty."
Wizard of Oz.
There you go. My kids were highly addicted to that. My grandkids have been highly addicted to that, and I think and of course I watched it every year when it came on TV as a kid. But I believe I've probably seen that movie 1,000 times.
Okay, now maybe not 1,000 times, but I bet if I mention this movie, you've seen it 100 times. Frozen.
Oh, just let it go. Let it go. Let it go.
So there is something memorable in there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. That's what I was going for.
You're a 7-year-old girl. There's a lot of things memorable in there.
There you go.
How about Alien? The first one back in '78,
Right.
Where that creature breaks out of
Pops
his
out of the chest, yeah.
Yeah. Oof.
That and you thought you had heartburn. Anyway, well, I tell you what, we have to get back to music here, so we're going to do that on the airwaves at KRIM, but we appreciate you joining us, and joining us on Facebook Live as well with the Hometown Movie Guys and community radio for a community that cares. 96.3 FM, KRIM.